3000. Matlack on the 0-1. Bobby hits a dive into the gap in the left-hand field. There she is.
Standing here wanting to pitch it some more, and then I see 3,000 up on the scoreboard, and the light bulb went on. And that was the first I realized that was his 3,000th hit. And unfortunately, the season, and then the plane went down that winter, and his life was tragically lost. All I knew about the Mets when I got drafted was it was going to be a place to play professional baseball, period. And it didn't matter to me where I was drafted. The fact that I got drafted and somebody was interested in having me pursue a career as a professional was important.
At that time, as you're running through the minor league system, you looked up and you saw Tom Seaver, Jerry Koosman, Nolan Ryan, among others. Do you ever think you'd be one of them?
No.
Yeah.
I called my dad at one point in 1969 in instructional ball. He may have to send me a bus ticket because everybody here throws harder than I do. Didn't pitch a bad ball game. I gave up a home run early to Tony Perez. We were down 2-1, and we had a chance to score. I believe it was in the 7th inning, and I was pinch hit for. We scored the runs, so I'm in the clubhouse with a lead 3-2. So here I am in my first big league start with a lead in the shower with Seaver closing the game. It's a lock, right? Perez hit another home run, and we lose 5-3. Tommy gets the loss, and I get a no decision.
73 was a big year for the Mets, was a big year for Jon Matlack. Struck out 205 batters, which at the time was a Mets record for left-handers that only stood for 35 years. What was your outpitch, by the way?
Anything that they missed. Because I played with my fastball so that there were 2 or 3 different fastballs, and I played with my curveball so that there were 2 different curveballs, and that's all I threw was fastball, curveball, until I ran into some bone chips when I was traded to Texas and had to learn the changeup. The tail end of spring training, that year we come back from a road trip, and that was going to be a cut day. And I'm not sure whether they made the final cuts, but I know the last team's only going to have 25 guys on it. My locker was sort of right inside the door to the left, about the second locker in, and I came in quietly and sat down, and I'm trying to nonchalantly look around the room and count all the lockers that still have uniforms in them. And I'm going 17, 18, 19, 20. And I get around to, I actually went the other direction, but I get around to my locker and I'm number 25. So it's like, yes, 25 and I'm still here. That must mean I made it. Unbeknownst to me, Gil Hodges had gotten off the bus late and walked in behind me and saw what I was doing. And as I get 25, he goes, "That's right, kid, you made it." And walked in his office. 9 days later, he fell over dead and had a heart attack on the golf course.
Then, tragically, just before the 1972 season was to begin, Gil Hodges was stricken with a massive heart attack and died. The team was devastated.
Sort of devastating. Hodges was a very interesting guy. He had a strange personality for me. If I had seen him in the lobby in the hotel, we were on the road, and he was coming from an opposite direction, and I had a chance to take a turn and not go past him and say good morning, I would take that turn. But by the same token, if I had an issue in baseball or in my life that I needed to talk to somebody about, I knew his door was always open and he would listen. A rare individual and a neat guy. He was at the end of his career, but still had a lot to add, both in the clubhouse and on the field. And it amazed me how he was able at 41 to take an extra base or take a base just based on the trajectory of the pitch.
M. Donald Grant comes down to have a clubhouse meeting, and his talk was on how the front office still believes in the players. We think of all you guys as family. We love every one of you. You wouldn't be here, and we have confidence in you. We know you can turn this thing around if you'll just believe in yourselves, you know? And I said, you gotta believe! Yeah, that's right, you gotta believe! Right in the middle of his talk. That night, we won the game. I got the save, and we were talking to the press afterwards, and the story came out, you gotta believe. Then we started getting that in the articles, and then it was headlines. The next thing you know, we went on a roll, and that became our rally cry.
Tug got very outgoing with his performances and would slap his glove on his leg and yell, you gotta believe, up and down the dugout, in and out of the clubhouse, and the next thing you know, that was the battle cry, and it sort of caught on. And I got credit, unfortunately, for hitting Pete when he was down when I wasn't even on the field, so we have to review the film on that one. But Bud did take exception to, I guess, 210 pounds flying into him at some ungodly speed when he only weighed about 145 soaking wet. Lit into Pete, which is a wrong guy to light into. But, everybody came away from it unhurt, except for Buzz Capper's hat, which Pedro Borbon took a bite out of the brim of.
Matlack avenged his opening game loss by winning the crucial fourth game, 6-1. The next night, Jerry Koosman shut out the A's for 6 1/3 innings, and Tug McGraw followed with 2 2/3 innings of scoreless relief himself, as the Mets blanked the A's 2-0 and took a 3-2 lead back to Oakland. But unlike 1969, the Mets' amazing march to the top in 1973 came up 1 game short.
Unfortunately, I was the guy out there in Game 7. That's the only game that the real Oakland Ball Club showed up. Bert Campaneris hit a curveball for a 2-run home run early in the game that I have no idea how he hit the ball. It was sort of windblown, but he still had to hit it. And then later in that same game, Reggie hit a curveball that most of you would have hit out. Because I sure left it in the wrong spot, and he didn't miss it. Well, the funniest part about that whole thing is Seaver's in the game pitching, and I know I'm going to be the next pitcher, and in Milwaukee the bullpens were at the old stadium out in right center field underneath the scoreboard. And I'm warming up. Tom's pitching the game. Yastrzemski's hitting. There's a couple guys on, and one of the guys in the back crack, and one of the guys in the bullpen goes, "Look out!" And I looked up, and if I hadn't been warned, I'm probably going to get hit with this home run that Yastrzemski hit off a Seaver. So I was able to duck and get out of the way, but that sort of got my blood flowing, I guess. I don't know. But then came in the ball game and managed to pitch 2 clean innings.
All or nothing type guy from a hitting perspective. What was he like?
It was all or nothing from feeling perspective, too. Every time he played right field and the ball went in that direction, I held my breath until it went in his glove.
A lot of talk about head injuries, traumas. You had a terrible experience in May of 1973. You had a line drive kind of ricochet off your head as well.
It never bothered me. I'll have a 3-2 count with 2 outs and the bases loaded and a 1-run lead, and I overthrew a fastball. It landed way too hard in my delivery. My head bounced. I lost sight of the baseball. I see the bat swing. I hear the thing go crack, but I never see the baseball. And at some point, about as far as from me to that gentleman in the red shirt right there, I realized it's headed right straight at me. And the only chance I had was to get my fingers up, and it hit me over my left eye and went in our dugout for a ground rule double. Wow. Now, that was a whale of a headache, but the thing that really
It's okay.
really ticked me off was it was a ground rule double. It cost me 2 runs, ended up costing me the ball game. Probably when Yogi was the manager, Yogi walked by me and he said, I got to take a leak. Make sure the bus doesn't leave without me. And I'm thinking, that's really funny. Why would the bus leave without the manager? You know, they would certainly wait on him, but he walking on the bus and his pant leg is soaking wet. And Yogi, what in the heck happened to you? He said, you wouldn't believe it. He said, I was standing there doing my business, and the guy came in next to me, and he went to go to the bathroom, and he turned around, and he, aren't you Yogi Berra? I don't think that one made his book.
It's the question Jon Matlack normally gets.
Nowadays, when people sort of see me and recognize that, you know, maybe he is, I'm not sure, and then somebody will say, didn't you used to be? And I always answer by saying, I think I still am.
This guy is an amazing person, this Jon Matlack. You got to know that 1972 National League Rookie of the Year, 3-time National League All-Star Team, co-MVP of the All-Star Game in '75, several playoff and World Series appearances. A good hand. Jon Matlack.
Thank you all. Pleasure to be here.